morning, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. The NFL playoff structure could reportedly change. Under the current CBA proposal, 7 teams from each conference will make the playoffs with only 1 bye per conference. So, Doug, what do you make of this?
I think that we are, well, one, obviously, they're trying to create more revenue, more teams, more excitement late in the season, which everybody, when baseball expanded their wild card, it worked. It worked. And baseball is going to continue to expand. That's what football wants a piece of, right? More teams still play. And I also think this guards against tanking because so many more teams will be involved in the playoff hunt. Don't believe me? The 2 teams that would have gotten in last year, if this was in play, it would have been the LA Rams and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And just think of how many teams were close in proximity to those teams to getting in. So all of that is a great idea. I just don't like how it disproportionately rewards the 1 seed as opposed to everybody else. It makes, all those teams that were the 2 seed would have had to play an additional game. And it doesn't matter what's fair or not. I just think the attrition of it would cause more injuries and wouldn't allow those teams to put their best foot forward when the games are really important in the playoffs.
I'm with you on the bye week. Look, the last 7 Super Bowls, both teams have had a bye week. That's how big it is. So you're giving a huge advantage to the number 1 seed that I think the number 2 seed deserves as well. I don't love it. I love playoff football, so I'll deal with it, and it'll eventually be fun. But I think the format as it is with 6 teams is tremendous. The goal of playoffs is, I know we want to throw in entertainment and all that, but it really is to find the best team. And you're letting in, you already usually have a 9-7 team as I think it just takes a little bit. It's not the worst thing in the world. We've seen it before where the best team doesn't always win, but I think you just increase that opportunity.
All right, on to the most anticipated title fight in years. Undefeated heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder taking on Tyson Fury in a rematch for the ages. The fight is Saturday. The 2 almost were done yesterday at the press conference. So, Chris, who you got?
I've got Deontay Wilder in a 10th round TKO. I think he's going to land the bigger punches. I think whether he wins by decision or TKO, as I said, I think he's going to knock Fury down once or twice. I think he's going to land the bigger shots. Fury is a tremendous boxer. No question he can outbox Wilder, but I don't know that he hits hard enough to hold off Wilder from, going at him hard and being a lot more aggressive than he was in fight 1.
And I've had Fury all week because of the reason you stated. I think he's a better boxer.
No question.
And I think, I'd be interested to see what type of shape he's in because he has had problems with his weight, whereas Deontay Wilder looks like a professional athlete. Honestly, I'm just excited to have an awesome heavyweight championship fight that I'm invested in. It's been so long. Maybe the last time, obviously, was when these 2 got around, but now having a rematch and it being a draw last time, just 2 giant men trading punches. You got Wilder, who has an unbelievable weapon. Just that one punch that you feel like can knock anybody out and nearly knocked Fury out against a guy who grew up son of a bare-knuckler fighter, right? Quit school at 11 years old and started paving roads. I love the fight. I love the matchup with 2 giants. I love that it's a heavyweight championship, and I'm going to take the better boxer over the better puncher.
What a stage. Can't wait. All right, on to some hoops. In just 3 seasons with the Warriors, Kevin Durant took home 2 finals MVPs. But when KD decided to leave Golden State and take his talents to Brooklyn, many wondered what his motives were. KD tried to set the record straight yesterday. Take a look.
Do you feel like you have to win a ring somewhere else to solidify this idea that you can just win a championship?
I don't believe I can do anything in this life by myself. I never felt that we can win championships based off of only what I do. I felt that way in OKC when we had success, in Golden State when we had success, and it's going to have to be the same thing in Brooklyn. A lot of people seen I left a successful organization and wonder why. For the most part, it's just wanting to just make a change in my career. It was simple as that.
So, Chris, do you think that Durant needs to prove that he can win a title without Steph, Clay, and Draymond?
First of all, he didn't answer the question. He said, I can't do anything by myself. Of course, you can't win it literally by yourself. So he did a good job of dodging that. To be honest, it wouldn't be wise to answer it. If he sat there and said, you know what? Yeah, I do need to win a championship. Now you put all that pressure on yourself. Maybe your team's just not good enough. So I think he handled it the right way, but I kind of saw between the lines what he was doing. He was avoiding the question. Now, his legacy is set as far as obviously Hall of Famer, obviously all-time great player. I think, Doug, you may have him in your top 10 all-time. Is that
I don't know. I even put together a list. I thought he was I thought he was the best player in the league over most of the last 3 years.
Okay, so bottom line is he's going down as an elite all-time great player regardless. Now, if he were to win another championship, it would be huge for him. When he went to Golden State, I said, I did not rip him. I was one of the few people that did not rip him in the media. And I said it was because when he wins a championship and 2 or maybe 3 championships and he's the finals MVP, the same people ripping him will be praising him. And that's just what happened. So he got tons of credit for going to Golden State and doing what he did, becoming their best player, winning the finals MVP. But let's just keep it real. As great as Kevin Durant is, you went to the best team in the league and won. There are a number of players who I think could have went to Golden State and won those championships. I don't take it away from him, but that's just the fact in my view. I think they would have won last year without him if Klay Thompson doesn't get hurt. So it would do wonders for his legacy. If he wants to get firmly in the top 10, in most people's top 10. If he wants to, I know your GOAT conversation is really long. If he wants to get in that GOAT conversation, right, but I don't think he ever would be considered the GOAT. But if he wants to get in that magic bird, right below that GOAT conversation, which for me is just LeBron, Michael, and Kareem, then I think winning another title, maybe 2, probably 2 to be honest, in Brooklyn, would do it because he is phenomenal. We never seen anything like him as a 7-footer who's a legitimate perimeter player. Right. Legitimately unstoppable. I've always said he's a 7-foot version of Steph Curry. But he has to win without the great cast he had in Golden State to prove it.
There's a bunch. Let me unpack a little bit. You said his legacy's set, but he can add to his legacy.
He can add to it. No, his legacy is an all-time great, elite all-time great is already set.
Yes. Look, the story is not yet, there's a other chapter here. First, you're coming off an Achilles tendon tear, and he's on the other side of 30 years old. It's hard to believe he will be the same guy. On the other hand, one of the things I think
31,
all of us,
he's not that far over the
right, but he's been in the NBA for over a decade, right? He's got a lot of wear off those tires. But we all believe that his style of play may be able to stand up even if he loses a half step because of the Achilles, right? Because he's so tall,
the size.
Right. I don't think he's Steph Curry. I think he's Kareem, if you really want to get down to it, because he's got an unstoppable. His pull-up jump shot is an unstoppable weapon. Well, it's not just that he's a great shooter. It's that because he's so tall, because of where and how he shoots it, you almost can't block it. You can't stop it, much like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook.
With the skyhook.
And kind of like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem lasted long.
No, not only that, though. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we point out, doesn't get mentioned as the great of all time, even though 6 titles, 6 MVPs, right? And Kareem was always kind of searching for himself, even when he was out in LA. He didn't necessarily feel comfortable with the glitz and glamour of Magic Johnson. That's what this guy's doing. He's still searching for himself. Look, he's laid out so many different reasons why he's done what he's done. I do think the truth is starting to come out in that he didn't want to call out players in Oklahoma City, but it wasn't about playing with Steph and Klay. It was about playing where you could have space. He thinks he's the best scorer in the NBA. I agree with him. But he couldn't do it when everywhere he goes, there's another defender, right? You throw Andre Robertson out there, can't shoot, and Steven Adams, who can't shoot, and even Russell Westbrook.
Sharing the ball, the whole philosophy.
But when they're up 3 games to 1, Golden State was like, look, let's just guard him with 2 guys. And it's almost impossible to do what you do. Now, he didn't play well in Game 6, and Klay was otherworldly, but I understood why he wanted that space. I'll disagree with you in terms of anybody could have gone there, because though the Warriors won 73 games, they were ahead of the curve and everybody was catching up to them. And this guy was the cheat code. This guy didn't allow the rest of the league to catch
He was the cheat code, but you think everybody was catching up to him?
Yes.
Because they won 73, they had Cleveland down. I take nothing away from the Cavs and LeBron and Kyrie, but if Draymond's not suspended for Game 5, I think Golden State wins that series.
But look.
So they would have had 2 straight rings, and everybody's still young and in their prime.
But if he wins, listen, if he wins a title in Brooklyn, if he wins 2 titles in Brooklyn,
oh, it's huge.
We're going to have a completely different discussion.
That's why when I say the complexion of how of his legacy and how I don't think he needs to win it to prove anything at this juncture. However, I think it changes the complexion of how he is remembered as you start to think about his legacy as he plays on.
But when I say he's set as his legacy, I mean he's already
right.
All-time elite.
Yeah,
he's already set in that. I just mean it can only go higher.
But here's the part that I disagree with, and sir, you tell me if I'm wrong. You said the people that were naysayers when he went to Golden State would cheer him. That hasn't happened.
Oh, yes, it did.
No.
I'm not going to name names, but I could name people I was on the set with who ripped Kevin Durant for going there and then praised him, because I saw the same thing with LeBron James. People ripped him when he went to Miami, and soon as they start winning, they were praising him. He was winning MVPs and all that.
But even you just said, like, look, a bunch of people could have gone to Golden State and won and
I do
won
think
a title.
that.
You look at his numbers though that year, like that.
He was phenomenal.
He was the best player, guarded by some people's greatest of all time. He was better than LeBron.
But hold on, both of you guys play ball at a higher level. The fact that he had Steph and Clay and Iguodala and all that they had on the court, that made it easier.
Of course it did.
That made it much easier. I had to pay so much attention to them.
LeBron James had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, and then they had.
I'm not saying Durant wasn't great. I'm just saying you cannot overlook the fact that putting him on the court with those players made it easier for him to do what he did.
No question.
That's what I'm saying.
But I would disagree with you when